Light no fire. What does it mean? Is it an instruction we should light no fire? Or is it like an argument between two people? Light, no fire. I don't bloody know. But in this video, I'm going to give you my theory about what I think it means, and I'll also give you my theory about what I think this universe of Light No Fire will be. The rules of the universe. Maybe some of the lore. But it's all my guess, it's all based on me watching the trailer a million times and sitting there and thinking about it. I'm a huge fan of fantasy, I love fantasy books, movies, and games, and yeah, I'm just gonna give it my best shot. So if you're like me and you can't wait for this game, let's jump into it and just talk about Light No Fire and what it might all mean. This is a world dominated by two forces, fire and magic. Magic comes from ancient artifacts discovered long ago and utilized for its ability to provide light and warmth. Fire was utilized for the same, but also for its destructive ability. Humans preferred the use of fire, riding dragons, using fire to light their way, and in battle. And the creatures rode birds and used magic for light and warmth. Perhaps there was a war between fire and magic. During this war, the side of magic built or awakened guardians to detect the use of fire and protect them from it. And they built magical towers to repel it, perhaps even to extinguish the flames. During this war, maybe due to the combination of fire and magic on the battlefield, a new evil rose up. Undead and other evil magical forces rose up. This new player didn't differentiate between creatures and humans. And now the creatures and humans banded together to fight the evil magical forces as one. And this is the point at which the player, us, enters the world. In this fight, we must be careful to only use fire sparingly. It is a powerful weapon, but it can draw the attention of the guardians and other fire-hating creatures. So in this world, we must light no fire, lest we be punished. Light may guide your path, but fire will mark your grave. Carry light, share warmth, but kindle no fire, lest the watchers stir. Illuminate the unknown, but do not provoke it. So basically, I think that the Light No Fire world is one where there are two forces. There's fire and then there's magic. The player is allowed to use both forces. We can use them to create light, we can use them in battle, but similar to games like zombie killing games, where using a gun is an option and a really powerful one, but it brings with it a negative, which is that it calls the attention of more zombies. So really what you want to be doing most of the time is using your melee weapons or your quiet weapons like your bows to take out the zombies. I think we'll have a similar mechanic in Light No Fire, where the preferred option, the quiet option, if you will be the magic. So it'll be better as a light source because it won't call the attention of guardians and it won't call the attention of more evil forces. Maybe that's not important. Maybe it's more that it just doesn't call guardians, like similar in No Man's Sky, where we don't want to, get the attention of the sentinels. So there might be, maybe the guardians are like the sentinels in No Man's Sky. And so if we use fire, they don't like that, and that will attract their attention. And that's kind of similar to like GTA as well. You don't want to go around killing people because you might get, cops on you. So I feel like we might have a similar mechanic in Light No Fire, but the catalyst for drawing the attention will be using fire. And so we prefer to use magic which is maybe a less powerful option, but a safer option because it doesn't draw any unnecessary attention or unwanted attention. So that's sort of the basis of my theory. And yeah, so I think the name Light No Fire is kind of like a warning. It's just like you can use fire if you want, but it will bring with it some, there's like a negative element to it. So it's really powerful, but be careful with it. Don't use it too much. So that's sort of my idea. We saw in the trailer, we walked into the rabbit town. I guess they're rabbits. And one thing I noticed when we were walking in here was that they had two different kinds of light sources. So they had the green magical sources, which were all on the ground. And then on the top of the city, which I didn't even notice at first, they had hanging from the ceiling these fire-looking light sources. And then I kind of noticed that it looked like the town was like split in half. The bottom half was like magical, and then the top half was fire. And that seemed strange to me, and it made me think, I already thought that maybe the rabbits were like a pacifist culture, and maybe they didn't engage in combat, and anyway, they were on the creature side, the magical side, so they didn't use fire, but at some point they maybe adopted fire. Possibly that dude, whoever that is, maybe that's their leader sitting in that chair, maybe he kind of took them over and started using fire and introduced them to fire, and then they went from being a pacifist culture to being warlike as well. So they adopted fire and started, because they needed it to fight against the evil forces. That's sort of a side theory that I had when I was watching the trailer a million times. So I think humans are sort of the dragon species. They like to use dragons. They don't mind using fire. Maybe they do dabble in magic. Maybe they use magic for some things, but they just find that fire is much more powerful. And so they use that. And then the creatures are just more only using magic. That's more like nature, magic. Those sort of two things go hand in hand. And then those two forces clashed and had a big war. And then that war maybe sparked, or maybe because of that war, they were distracted or something. And then the evil forces rose up. And then the humans and the creatures had to band together to fight off the evil. So I think this kind of theme of like humans versus creatures, and then humans and creatures banding together and fighting off the evil forces, I feel like that's something that we've seen in so many other fantasy, novels and movies and stuff and games, that, yeah, it makes sense. And then the interesting element of having fire bringing the attention of the Guardians, could be really cool. And that sort of ties into No Man's Sky with the Sentinels. So anyway, that's sort of the basis of my theory. I think it's interesting. I think it could bring some interesting gameplay with it, where there's this like cost benefit analysis that you're constantly doing. Should I use fire, or should I, and just destroy everything, and then run away and get out of dodge so we don't get attacked by guardians or whatever, or should we just take the slower approach? It's like the rabbit versus, or the hare versus the tortoise, and tortoise versus hare. The quick, just blast everything approach and just get it done, or the slow, methodical approach. So I think it could be cool. I'm really looking forward to this game. I think it's just going to be an absolute masterpiece. Hello Games, I'm not saying they can't do any wrong. Obviously they can, but I think they must have learned so much from their time in No Man's Sky and the mistakes that they made during that. They made some big mistakes there, but they turned it around, and they've made a game that is truly incredible. So I feel like, yeah, they're gonna do the same thing with Light No Fire, but they're gonna avoid all those the mistakes early on. So I think it's going to be really special. But anyway, let me know what you guys think down below about this theory. If you have your own theories, I'd love to hear them. But yeah, I really like this idea of having magic versus fire, nature versus evil, or creatures and humans coming together and banding together against the evil. I just love that as a theme. And then obviously there's going to be some crazy kind of underlying mysteries and stuff. It wouldn't be a Hello Games game after No Man's Sky anyway, without that sort of deep lore and really mysterious element to it that we'll probably never really figure out. Like, it'll probably always be abstract and left up to the player to determine. But yeah, anyway, absolutely love the whole concept, and I'm really looking forward to the next trailer, so I'm definitely going to analyze the absolute hell out of the next trailer. So anyway, subscribe if you want that. Anyway, yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below as to your guys' theories. If you think I am on the right track, or if you have some competing theories, let me know. And yeah, I might make a video if I get enough theories that are really interesting. I might make a video talking about them and giving my thoughts on them. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. As always, guys, like the video if you liked it, dislike it if not, and subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.